Hi, Myles. How you doing?
Hello, hi there.
Good, good. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, and can you hear me?
Absolutely wonderful. Coming through great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Good, good. So, whereabouts are you in the UK?
We're in Cambridge.
In Cambridge. Oh, you're not a million miles away then. We're South London here at Sound Fusion Radio. So I'm actually in the South London studio right now. So have I caught you at a good time? You're not in the middle of something or having to rush away?
I'm always in the middle of something.
Well, that's good. That's actually not a bad thing. That shows a busy man, and that's a good thing. So there you go. Wonderful. So do you mind if I start throwing a few questions at you? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
I was interested really for you to sort of summarise your musical style for me. Talk about sort of currently how you sound and what that is and how that came about. That would be wonderful.
that is a tough question. As always is. Well, in terms of sound-wise, it's definitely soul music with elements of jazz, I would say, and at times, there is a sort of a funky element to it, and I guess that's sort of come about. The jazz element is the musicians I work with. They're all jazz musicians in their own right, and the guy that I compose with is actually a French composer from Paris called Thierry Loz, and he's got more of a rock background.
Right. Yeah.
Funny enough. So, we composed the basic sort of demos in France, and then I translate them into into soul, and then get my jazz musicians to play them. So there you go.
Sounds absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I saw you doing an acoustic session with a guitarist, and the same guitarist is sitting in the back of the car with you in that video. You're driving an American car. It's a left-hand drive car for sure.
Yeah.
And who's the guitarist there?
The guitarist, that's Thierry Loz. That's my French friend of mine and a work colleague that I compose my music with.
Wonderful. Oh, yeah, great. Because, in one of the acoustic sessions, he's just sitting on his amp with his Gibson, and you're there singing. It's fantastic.
No, I'm glad you like those. Those are my early sort of videos that I posted on YouTube, encouraging my fans to sort of pick which song they like best to go on my debut album, which was the Born in Black and White album. So those were sort of the acoustic sessions that I did in the early stages of my solo career.
Well, I love Goodbye Lady Goodbye.
Great, that is a great track. Live, it's magic live, that's for sure.
Do you know? I don't know if you've ever done it for this kind of audience, but I feel elements of Northern Soul in there, like for your sort of Northern Soul type dance people. And it may be an avenue you've not even looked at, but I mean, I sometimes play gigs of that genre, and I'd be quite happy to throw in a couple of your tracks in there, because I reckon the old backstep dancers would be raring to go for it,
No, that's fantastic. I will not stop you from playing my tunes whenever you get the opportunity to. But what I'll say is the Northern Soul elements, I've heard it here and there, said from, but that's, unintentional. The Northern Soul scene is something relatively sort of, I guess, kind of new to me. I do know about some of the musics and how it came about, but that's not my sort of intention to make any sort of a Northern Soul sound. I guess it's just the kind of soul that I like. And I guess Northern Soul has a strong sort of Motown, feel to it anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's more the obscure, unreleased stuff, Motown stuff, which has a bit more sort of a raw aspect to it, I'll say. And I guess maybe that's the way I translate my soul music, and I guess it has some kind of a Northern Soul feel to it, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was exactly on purpose, if you know what I mean. I didn't, I didn't think for any moment that you'd sort of set out to do that. But I think it's you have a very strong sort of backbeat to your tunes, which is more sort of an older soul sort of feel on that album. I must say, on the newer teaser stuff, there is a change of mood there, which works really well as well. But just sort of looking at the two sort of areas of music that you've released, and I love some of your remixes. That drum and bass remix is absolutely amazing, fantastic.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was done by a friend of mine, and yeah, a lot of people sort of like those remixes, and I look forward to do some more remixes with the new album too.
Well, you know, we're an all sort of Mobo genre radio station, so we cover everything really from sort of, you know, from the 50s blues right the way up to music of tomorrow, you know, you know, as a station, that's a whole load of music, and you just have such a great, I don't know, variety in your music that seems to come out. You know, it's wonderful.
Fantastic, thank you.
That's great. So, tell us, how did it all start with you and music? What did little Myles do to sort of suddenly decide that music was his thing?
I mean, my first love for music was what I guess my direction towards wanting to do something in the music industry was in the form of hip hop, rap. I used to be a young rapper and sort of producing my own music and stuff in my room, and in the late '90s, hip hop and rap kind of took a turn that I wasn't very, I didn't kind of like, It wasn't. It just went a little bit sort of gangster, a little bit too gangster. There was less meaning to it and stuff, and all of a sudden, I think it was. I'm trying to think who it was. Music Soul Child released an album around that time, and that was just like ping. My ears were like sort of open to that, and that just made me rediscover the soul music I used to listen to when I was growing up. So what I decided to do was to just instead of rapping, was just to sing my raps. So I'll be singing my raps instead of actually wording them and speak sort of spoken word style, and realize that there was something to it, and I'll do it at parties with friends, and the reaction I was getting was really good, and for some reason I felt that I could express myself with fewer words and more emotion with singing than I could with rap. Somehow. So I just sort of, I basically just switched from rapping to singing, and that was the beginning, really. Well,
that seriously works, Myles. To be fair, I mean, watching your videos of you on stage there with the live band, there's a dynamic there that you really seem to enjoy, and I know that all live performers do enjoy it, but there's an element there that's really, really quite nice to watch. That was great, and I'm glad that the videos were on your website, because I wouldn't have had that insight with just the music, if you know what I mean.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I believe I'm a live musician. That is where, that's where I come alive. And I try to put as much feeling as I possibly can into each song, into performing each song, So I try to connect myself to the songs and each word, and at the same time to connect with the fans, because the energy you get back from an audience is nothing. There's nothing like that. So, for me, as much as I do like recording music, and it's part of what I do, live, the live aspect of my musical career is much higher up there, and live music is playing live is what it's all about for me. So I'm glad that you from those videos you've managed to sort of see that, which is great.
Well, I would definitely come and watch you live, that's for sure, without a doubt. So I'm going to be looking on your other page at where you are soon, and I guess in fact I think you're in Cambridge soon, aren't you? Somewhere near to home then.
Yeah, I'm in Cambridge tomorrow. I have a residency at a great little venue called La Raza, which is a sort of a basement sort of venue, which I've been working sort of closely with to try and build up a sort of funk soul jazz scene in my local area. So that I have a residency. This was once a month at La Raza, and then on Friday we're in London.
Wonderful.
At Paradise in Kensal Green. And then the following week, we're back in London again at Floridita in Soho on the Wednesday, if I get it right, the 16th.
Wednesday. I'm going to have to try and get to one of these gigs and watch you live, that's for sure. That'd be great. Yeah, fantastic. The Breakfast Show crew will try and get along to one of your gigs. I think it'd be great.
No, that'd be cool. I would love, it'd be fantastic to have you guys at my show. That's for sure.
Well, we'll come up and say hi to you afterwards, and yeah, that'd be fantastic. Excellent
Great.
stuff. Yeah. So, musical memories. You know, what were the tunes that you used to buy years back? I mean, what were the tunes that you used to play to bits?
I used to play to bits. Well, this is one of the questions that's really, really tough to say. But there's a lot of James Brown in there. I'm not just gonna pick a song in particular, because there's a lot of songs influenced me. There's a lot of James Brown in there. Otis Redding, a big influence. What a voice, what a performer. I like the way he goes from being so sort of having so sensitive with a vocal and then blasting out a big voice sort of thing. I like Al Green. These are well-known names, but still, Al Green. The way he when he performs, he's almost performing for himself. But then in turn, you feel that energy. That's what I like about that. Marvin Gaye. What a voice. Like Silk, I would say. And so some more obscure stuff, maybe Shuggy Otis. I remember playing that album, Inspiration Information, I think that's the name of the album.
Yeah, yep.
I remember playing that. That kind of inspired me at one point in my sort of musical sort of career sort of thing. There's something about that album that was great. So those are some of the names, and a lot of hip hop stuff as well. So. When I was in the early 90s.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm thinking, this sort of A-list of soul singers there. I mean, and then the rap on the other side. I mean, the rap is what I would have expected someone of your age to have been exposed to. But how did you get exposed to those, to that soul? I mean, is that something that came from parents or what was that?
Yeah, that came from parents. I was born in Ghana. And grew up in Ghana from my earlier years, and there's a lot of music around. So we're talking Bob Marley, Bill Withers, a lot of soul stuff, including high life, African music, and basically that was from at home. My mother used to play all those music bars around the corner. Used to play them, so that was in my subconscious. That music was there. But then a bunch of friends, DJs, soul DJs that I made friends with in the late sort of early 2000s, late 90s, reintroduced me to soul again, soul and funk, which was great. Which was basically, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Who's starting to put names to songs and so on. So that's basically how the soul and funk sort of played a part in my life growing up.
Wonderful, and it's absolutely great. And can you remember the first time you ended up in front of an audience as a professional performer? When you made that sort of break and you're there in front of your first audience. Can you remember
that? Wow, because it's a tough one. Because before I became, I'll say not officially professional, but before I had a band behind me, I can remember the first gig where I had a band behind me. It was actually in Cambridge during a May ball, and it must have been 2001 or 2003. In between 2001, I'm trying to remember the exact date. It's all kind of haze now, and there's a lot of gigs.
Of course.
But I remember that gig, and the nerves were, the nerves, because it was the the first time a lot of rehearsal went into it and everything else. That was the first time where I was in front of an audience, and I had my band behind me, and you want to make sure everybody does the right thing, So I remember my nerves being sky high on that particular night. But I started performing and basically freestyling with DJs when I was into rap. So basically, this was late '90s, and basically I used to go to club nights, and I would just I'll speak to a DJ, I'll make friends with them, I'll grab the mic, they'll play an instrumental, and I'll rap.
Wow.
So that I had an experience, and that's when I first started thinking the reaction I get is fantastic. And sometimes there'll be professional sort of MCs, and I'll get on the mic and I'll change the whole atmosphere. And it got to a point where those professionals would see me and they wouldn't want to give me the microphone.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before as well. When you've got a guy that's got natural talent and you've got other guys there that call themselves MCs and they just don't want to hand that mic over because they know.
Yeah, so basically, kind of got to that point. So it was this was nights at the Junction, there's hip hop nights, Rubber Soul in Cambridge, and at the Fest Club. So this I did a lot of that in the beginning, and I gained some respect and some notoriety for being a good MC. And then later on I started introducing a bit of singing into it as well. So I'll rap a little bit, then I'll sing a chorus, and and so on. So I did a lot of that. So remembering the first time it's gonna be tough, to be honest. But if I should try and think back, maybe it was in Ghana when I was at the age of 14.
Wow.
I organized a show, a talent show, and I can remember that's probably one of the first times that I performed in front of an audience. I did a rap song. I was sampling hip hop instrumentals, and I put together a song, and I remember performing that for the first time. To be honest, and that was an amazing day for me. And
oh, excuse me. Let me just settle this down, and then we are recording, so I can edit that out. That's amazing, actually. So, at the age of 14, you organised a talent contest in Ghana.
Yeah, at the age of 14. I mean, I did a lot of organizing stuff. I'm always sort of organizing something. And yeah, it was called I remember what did I call it? The Boom Boom Talent Show.
Wow.
And yeah, I had a whole bunch of people. I remember making posters, putting them around the local area, friends at school and everyone else. And it was a success. I actually made a profit. So,
wow, wonderful. That's brilliant. Well, there you go. Businessman from early on. That worked out well. That's good. That's wonderful. So what are you working on now, Myles? What's in the project right now?
What's in the pipeline? Well, the main focus is on the current album, which is going to be released on the 12th, 12th, 13th, 15th, that week, by Leger. And that's where my main focus is. So there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, prior to that. But my mind is already on my third album, which I'm planning to record the demos by the end of this year.
Wow!
And look to get in the studio early next year and record it. And I want it to be amazing. I guess don't we all? But I'm gonna try and summarize everything I've been doing to try and put it all in one in one piece of work. If I can, I'm gonna try anyway. So that's where my mind is at. That's in terms of the next step. That's what I'm thinking. And as well as that, I'm working on a featured album with Speedometer.
Yeah.
If you know the band Speedometer, I am a member of Speedometer, one of the lead vocalists. But we're working on an album currently, which hopefully, if everything goes well, will be released sometime early next year. Which is going to be a Speedometer featuring Myles Sanko album.
Wonderful. Well, that's that's a lot of work. What with that and the gigs as well. I mean, you don't hang around much, do you?
No. I think about how much work is there to do. But at the end of the day, it's this is what I do. This is what I've dedicated my time to do, and this is what I love doing. So do it. Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. I know exactly what you mean. When you do what you love, it really stops being work and it just becomes life. It's wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And sometimes sometimes it can be a little bit daunting because you're basically opening new doors that you don't know what's behind
Mm.
and how you're going to react to it. But each door that I've opened so far, seems to be okay. I've handled it quite well, and I'm looking forward to to doing more and bigger and better things. Like some of my icons have done, and are doing, because I love to experience it, and basically just I want to make as much music as I possibly can and play to as many people as I possibly can. That's what I like to do.
Well, that sounds absolutely great. And what about sort of going forward, in years to come? Are there any sort of burning ambitions that you have that you think that time will allow you to meet?
When you say other ambitions, or
Well, sometimes an artist will want to sort of try something in a different genre, or do a duet with somebody amazing, or perhaps look at movies or something like that. I'm just wondering
yeah.
if there were anything further that you had in mind.
Yeah, in terms of music, who knows? At the end of the day, I would love to make music. Genre-wise, soul seems to be, seems to be the catalyst that I'm using now,
Mm.
and I might return back to hip hop. Who knows? Yeah, something, a hip hop jazz thing or something. Who knows? But for the futures, finding time to do. I'm also a cinematographer. So
Yeah.
something I do on the side. I would love to have the time to focus on and make some short films. At the moment I do a lot of music video stuff work,
Yeah.
and I would love to dedicate the time to be able to make some short films that I can then submit to some film festivals, and then kind of grow that side of my sort of my career as well. So I
Wonderful.
hope that answers your question.
Well, yeah, it does. That's absolutely brilliant, and that's exactly the sort of thing that I was kind of interested in hearing about. And yeah, that's wonderful. So the impending release of the album, we're seriously looking forward to that, and we haven't got long to wait now, which is fabulous. So. Obviously you've got your website, which is great, and probably social media to go with it. So if you want to tell our listeners sort of how to make contact, how to find out more, how to listen to your music and buy your music and all that kind of thing, that would be wonderful.
Okay, great. Well, in terms of music and finding a bit more about me, the best place to get all that info is at www.mylessanko.com, and from there, you can then make your way to all the social media sites that that you use. That anybody will like to use from my website. Also, you can also buy music. You can buy some T-shirts, posters. The first debut album, Born in Black and White, and also some limited edition exclusive vinyl of the Forever Dreamin'. So yeah, that's the place to go. www.mylesanko.com.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Myles. If there's anything you'd like to tell the listeners, we're a world-based radio station. We broadcast to 47 countries, but, we are based here in London. If there's anything you'd like to say to our listeners, then please feel free to do so right now.
Okay, to the listeners, I would like to say I hope you all enjoy my music, and the one thing, if you enjoy it, is to share it and tell a friend about it. And when you get a chance to own, or once you're playing it, to play it loud and proud.
Wonderful. Yeah, so get yourselves a copy of Myles Sanko's first album there, and when the new one comes out, which is only in a few days' time, get yourself another copy of that. So there you go. Myles, if there's anything else you'd like to say, then please feel free to do so. Anything at all. If there's anything that you'd like me to have asked that I haven't, that you would like to say, well, then please do so.
No, I mean, I'd just like to say, thank you for this interview, and thank you for supporting my music. And I hope that maybe one day we can do something, a live session or something on your show, or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that could be arranged. I'm thinking that would be a really good idea. So yeah, and we must come and see you. So I'll try and get that arranged as well. So if a couple of people come appearing out of the audience from nowhere saying they're from Sound Fusion Radio, it'd be us. Okay.
Okay, no, that's great. Just let me know when which show. I'm happy to put you on the guest list and stuff, and then you can enjoy the show with us.
Oh, and that's wonderful. And well, I've got your Skype ID, so I can Skype you and tell you when we're coming along. That's fantastic. It'd be brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I'm conscious I've taken up almost half an hour of your time, which is very, very kind of you to give. And I'm sure that our listeners will thoroughly enjoy hearing all about you. And hopefully it won't be too long before we speak again.
Great stuff. The pleasure's all mine.
Wonderful. You have a great rest of your day, and we'll speak again soon. Thanks, Myles.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.